everybody. Greetings and salutations.
Virgin ears.
Welcome to episode 24 of the Any Key. Oh my goodness, this is a much better episode. I'm super excited, mainly because I'm not out of breath and I'm not exhausted, and it's legitly happening.
And we're on time.
And we're on time. It started on time. So always a great time to be here, guys. This is the show where we discuss esports culture and happenings. I'm joined with my co-hosts, Bear or Josh, or Jaguar, or Tremere, and or. Gentlemen, how are you?
Doing good.
I was wondering which was going to talk first.
Yeah, I don't know who's supposed to go first.
And then I thought Skynet was going to come up, and then I thought...
No.
No Skynet?
No, not today.
Okay, so... So it's an awesome... What is it? Tuesday, 6 o'clock. Right time, right place, guys. So we're ready to talk some esports. Super excited. Bear, how have you been?
I've been doing good. Again, same as last week, just in the middle of school, so consuming a lot of my time right now. But
is school another way of saying Hearthstone?
No, this week's actually been school. Last week was like Hearthstone mixed with a little studying. This week's just studying. There's no time for the RNG this week.
The RNG, Jesus. Timir, what about yourself? What about you?
Just esports life, lots of things happening, looking up lots of research, planning events, that kind of stuff. The usual,
you know, every now and again.
Meetings.
So guys, go ahead, tell me.
Oh, it's nothing. No announcements to be made yet. Soon, TM. ETS
Soon TM. So. Oh yes, I can't wait. So let's go on critical update, and we'll bring that up in there. So critical update. First things first. If you guys don't remember, we still have the Legacy of the Void launch party happening in November. In terms of actual events happening here. Oh, was he gonna say something, Bear?
No, I was gonna say November 14th.
November 14th at Legacy of the Void. Feeling pretty pumped for that. Beta is about to end soon. Patch 3.03 just launched today-ish kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's enough about StarCraft. Dead game. I love my dead. Listen, I love my dead game. I like that.
That one cut.
No, well, you and me are the only survivors of this dead game.
Nobody playing? More space for me.
It's pretty much my attitude towards it. It's like, listen, it's just me playing. Okay, well, I can get to the top of the ladder.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it my goal by the end of 2015 to get out of bronze.
Come, Jeff.
My God.
Let's play a game.
I hope that isn't difficult.
It's harder than you would think. But on the plus side, I figured out what my Halloween costume will be this year. I have a Halloween party to go to, and I will be dressing up as a pro player.
Ooh.
So.
You have a
just a pro player?
I got my Razer headset. I got my jersey. That would have been a good idea. I should have got. All I have is my
God.
Listen, I have my AMD. I have my AMD jersey. Can pretend like I'm sponsored by them. You know, gaming Evolve.
Staff on the back.
And then I carry my Razer headset and my SteelSeries keyboard. Carrying an energy drink around. Easy peasy Halloween costume.
You must have really thought that one out.
You know,
I hope you didn't lose sleep over that.
You know what? I did put some thought in, and I thought it was
better now that he's figured out such an awesome costume.
See, you know what I love most about this show is that you guys get me. I don't have to do very much because you already know the mannerisms, you already know the idiosyncrasies and all that stuff. It's you've got it pretty much locked down. So
idiocies, all of it.
Same things.
We get it all.
All of it. So also on the critical update notion, LAN ETS, absolutely my favorite LAN in all of Canada.
Is that a spoiler? That's a spoiler, I guess, technically.
They just dropped their release trailer today.
No.
So,
it's a teaser.
Teaser trailer. Teaser trailer just got dropped today. So LAN ETS teaser trailer
Yeah. The
hashtag
actual
dropped.
announcement's in 50 hours or 49 hours and 24 minutes.
They still have the countdown.
Oh, it's on
What
their
does this
website,
even mean?
lanets.ca. Go check it
So
out.
those of you who don't know LAN ETS is like by far the largest LAN in all of Canada. Like there's no LAN larger than LAN ETS. And they just dropped a trailer. I guess we learned about the trailer too late, so I don't know if Delk will be able to throw it up on screen. So
Either way,
either way, we'll just do a quick we'll just do a quick discussion about what it is. So what you kind of see in the trailer is a couple guys wake up and they're like, today is the day. And I don't know if anyone noticed it, but they actually have the date in the calendar, which normally LAN ETS is during March break. So more or less that's like the middle of March, March 15th ish region. This time the calendar was set to April, and it was set to April 15th. So
oh
I don't
my
know.
god. Oh.
Yeah, look at that. You have to. You know what? This is years from watching DC and Marvel comic trailers and teasers. You got to look for these little things because they're just subtle. So yeah, this time it looks like it's unless obviously that was a mistake in the editing of the film. But let's hope that's
No
not
way.
the case. Could you
No
imagine?
way.
Could you imagine? Rip.
There's no way. These guys are way too professional for that.
So there we go. April 15th. Then these got each one of them checking their phone. Keck, Kappa, LAN ETS. Today's the day. They all go running towards the ETS building, just charging it, and they get there, and nobody's there. It's empty. The building's empty, which means, that's it. It's not going to be there. It must have been how old is ETS? Like something like 8 years or something like that. And for the first time in a long time, it won't be at that venue, which is kind of weird since the LAN is called LAN ETS. ETS being the name of the school. So it's interesting to see how they're going to do it because ETS obviously subsidized a lot of costs, but either or, the guys who run LAN ETS are really awesome, and I can't see that I can't see them doing a bad job. Really great culture and incredibly great guys organizers. I love their event. Are you looking forward to it, Tamir?
I am. Last year we were there. It was probably like the best LAN experience I've ever been at. The atmosphere is great. They really put in a lot of work and plan their shit out. Like you're not gonna get any like massive delays or anything with these guys. Like don't get me wrong, technical difficulties happen all the time. They're just a reality. But like these guys have been doing this for a long time. It was pretty smooth sailing. And I had a lot of fun. It was really great. Everything you wanted was there. It was just hours and hours of really good gaming, good people. They were giving away so much stuff, and they have great shirts. They gave us great shirts last time, and they were giving away.
I still sleep in my shirt.
Sleep in it? No, we'll take that up later. But no, it was great. I'm really looking forward to it. I love ETS. It was a lot of fun, and there's honestly like I'm usually somebody to shit on everything, so
you
to
are
get excited about something like that. It's pretty rare, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Bear, were you weren't with us with ETS, were you?
No, I wasn't. But
were you
like
even part of the organization back then?
this was like just like this was like the first LAN you had after I joined the team.
Oh.
So I didn't come.
Oh, you missed it. You missed the fun.
I'm really disappointed with this date. I don't think I'll be able to make it. That's like right during my final exams.
Ooh.
We'll see.
It's well, sometimes we have.
That doesn't make sense either. That doesn't make sense either though, because like it's at a university. Like these people are going to be having exams as well. Like Quebec doesn't start at a different time than Ontario.
Well, people in Quebec are generally fairly backwards, so they probably do.
What is the date?
April 15th is what I saw on the calendar.
Okay, well, it's a rumored date. It's not necessarily the actual date. We'll wait for their official announcement because I don't think they've actually announced the date anywhere.
But
No,
like, as a university student, I love seeing stuff like this. So I'm making every attempt I can to be there.
It's really exciting. I hope that ETS is held at a different venue. I always thought that was their biggest thing, that they couldn't grow any further because they were confined to their venue.
It even says on their Twitter, can you find the hint in there?
It must be the date, I mean, for the location. Did they
I
say?
don't know.
Oh, that's a good
It
question.
just says get ready. Can you find the hint?
To
In
be
the
honest,
video.
though, one thing I noticed about ETS, and if anyone could notice that ETS, this trailer has to be the most work I've seen in any trailer in all of Canada. I don't, I don't think I've ever seen a Canadian event or tournament or LAN put this much effort into a trailer in my life. This is some actual camera work had to be done. Like someone had to go out, film it, they had to plan it. Like, think about it, right? This is all in synchronous to their marketing. They're doing the countdown on their website. Like, there's some actual stuff happening. Um,
Yeah,
you know,
go check them out, guys. LANETS, lanets.ca, at LANETS, LANETS on Facebook. Like, you have no problem finding them. If you're watching this, you should be there. So, or if you're listening into this, you should be there.
absolutely. So, with that being said, we're gonna move off of critical update, but I wanted to do something a little bit different with after critical update. I wanted to ask you guys: have you guys watched any good streams lately of of tournaments? Bear, what about you? You like to watch Hearthstone. Maybe you've watched some good streams.
And this week I watched the Magic Star City Games Legacy Finals. I was watching that at the library. That was really good.
You know what? I won't judge you. I won't judge you. It's fine.
It's okay. Like, to explain to you, it's just a different format from what I play. And I was watching it. It was pretty good. I also watched a bit of the Clash of Clans tournament that was going on this
Are
weekend.
you serious?
That wasn't a joke when I was telling you. Yeah, like Clash of Clans had their big event this week.
Wow,
This
that
weekend.
was. I didn't. Has to be a record of how quickly I'll throw
So,
somebody off the team.
Did somebody play for money, or was it just like Clash of Clan coins, or?
No. This was like there was casters, there was a stage. There was
No freaking way! I don't believe you.
analysts. Like
I
this
don't
was
believe
like
you.
no, this was legit.
I don't freaking believe you. You'll have to link. You'll have to link that. Have to link that to me later.
Like I'll find it. Yeah.
I don't believe you.
What else? I caught the end of the league worlds. That's it.
Oh, is that still going on?
Yeah, next week's the finals.
Oh.
So
Everything happening in esports. Oh, League of Legends, is that happening?
I know. But yeah,
Esports
finals are
TV.
next week. I mean, I'm not a particular fan of the game, but I'll be watching the finals.
What about you, Tamir? You must be watching Nanyang.
Will I be watching the? No. I have been. I've been watching a lot of Nanyang. I'm watching Starladder mostly actually, just because Nanyang's still getting their shit together. And you were asking about have I watched anything good, and Starladder has been doing a pretty good job. It's actually really interesting that Starladder and iLeague have come together. This like massive Russian tournament and massive Chinese tournament kind of come together to put on an event. So interesting to see how the LAN finals for that will be. But
Production been good?
Yeah, it's they've done a pretty good job. I always appreciate Starladder a little bit more than other tournaments, just because it's been around and it's really been a scene development kind of brand. They've put in a lot of work as far as treating like pro players right and giving opportunity to up and comers and like having good lands and providing better experience and really just kind of lifting up the scene a bit. So there's like a little special place for me with Starladder.
Really?
Yeah, like I said, they've.
This is the most emotion I've ever heard you speak to any one creature on this planet.
Well, every once in a while. Anyway, that's done now, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. No, but that's kind of that, and Nanyang have kind of what I've been watching. Nanyang is obviously happening in Singapore, so that's kind of like middle of the night. It's a bit difficult to watch, as I'm kind of like dozing off when they start up around 10 p.m. and then it goes till about 4 a.m. I believe. So I don't normally get to watch all of it.
I thought you would have sacrificed everything for Dota and just gotten.
When it's the main event, I will. But right now, like to give you an example of what's going on, they didn't have graphics for the brackets, so the like panel of casters were like literally drawing a bracket on paper and putting it up to the camera to show viewers what the standings were. Because, yep. Okay. Should I repeat it or?
No. That was more of a in a shock. So
exactly. Yeah. So like, and you couldn't find the standings on their website or anything either. Like, there's no. It was.
Was this amateur hour?
I think it's just Singapore hour. Like, it's the first major event in Singapore, and they're really showing why. It's just really surprising that the prize pool is like enormous for the level of like preparation and work that's gone into it. It's like I'm sure that the players wouldn't mind if you took like 10K out of the prize pool and put together a decent production. In terms of like graphics.
Isn't that
overlays.
possible? Isn't the possibility though that this actually might indicate that there just isn't any money, that Nangyang is just one giant smoke and mirrors, and that
No, it like go take a look at pictures of the venue. It's actually like spectacular. They have like soundproof booths, like stage lights, shows, screens everywhere. Like the venue looks incredible. Like they've really done a great job with. But I mean, it can it can look great if tournament day comes. D-Day. It's crunch time. Players are in the booths. Nothing's working. That's a different story, and that's kind of what they're dealing with right now. Is like technical difficulties all over the place. The casters' PCs can't get above like 25 FPS. Like
oh snap!
It's just been production issues through and through so far. Like I said, like the casters' headsets were like shorting and like zapping the casters, like
zap,
like shocking their ears. I was like, this can't be serious. Like there's no way. But and then like I said, you see like Shiver, one of the hosts, like drawing out the groups, the standings, like holding it up to the camera, like take a look. These are your standings, so you know who's advancing to the playoffs. Like, but ridiculous. But I mean, that's.
Well, it reminds me of the good old days when we didn't have, bracket generators and we had to draw it out on paper.
Or graphic designers.
Or graphic designers. We had, in my esports days, we had to do our brackets manually, and that's how we did it. And that's just how it is. We're all so spoiled. Gosh darn it. You youngins these days.
I know.
I blame Bear.
I mean, wanting to know the standings for a tournament, like, Jesus, that's crazy. Who would want that?
Why should you know? You're not playing.
You don't need that.
Yeah.
You're not playing. Why do you need to know the standings? You just need to know who wins.
Why do you need to hear the casters? You don't need to hear the casters. They're casting. What do you care if you hear them or not?
We'll tell you when the finals start.
Yeah.
Why don't we just draw you a picture?
But in all honesty, like I said, their venue looks spectacular. So hopefully they can get all this kind of crap sorted out by then. By then being tomorrow. They can get all that stuff sorted out so that at least the people who paid for physical tickets to the LAN event aren't, don't basically feel like they wasted their money or they got, seriously gypped because nothing's working and they're just riddled with technical difficulties and production issues. But honestly, it looks amazing, and like the fact that they have like soundproof booths and like these massive like stat screens behind them and stuff like that. It all looks
I can't
really
wait till we have an event in a venue that's so gorgeous that you wish that you had died in it.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to the first topic that we're going to discuss today. Actually, it's probably one of the favorite topics that Bear loves to discuss. It's his favorite topic. Daily esports fantasy site DraftKings and Vulcan are banned from the state of Nevada. It's a state, right?
Yep.
From the state of Nevada. Basically, Nevada's gaming commission have ruled that fantasy esports or daily, or maybe not even just esports, fantasy sports in general, is considered gambling. My question is, why did they just figure this out now? And is this something that we're gonna?
Gambling not okay in Nevada?
Hmm?
I was just,
Isn't
I was
it
like, what's wrong with gambling in Nevada?
Like I don't know.
Competition. That's what's wrong with it.
Well, that's the thing though. Isn't everything gambling in Nevada? Isn't that what people go there for?
Why I'm confused.
Yeah, but is the government there not capitalizing on the gambling that's going on there? Whereas
Now,
this is like privatized.
So actually, this is just a little caveat. So they need to be properly licensed under the gambling law. I should be that more specific.
Yeah.
So they are unable to operate unless they comply to whatever stipulations that their gaming commission. So essentially, the governing body have ruled that fantasy esports or fantasy sports is gambling and thus is subject to their gambling laws. It's kind of like Uber, where people are like, is this ride sharing or is this a taxi? Right? And they're
how do you ban a website in a state, like one state? Like I can understand banning it in a country. Like nobody from the states can access like PokerStars or what have you, but like how do you ban a website just from
But like
Nevada?
you just can't.
Couldn't you just block the IP?
You can't legally pay out. That's it. The website will work. You just can't pay out.
Oh, is that how that
Is
works?
that all it is?
Like, that's all it's gonna be. Like if I live in Nevada, I want to gamble on CS:GO. It's not legal right now. I'll just send it to my family in New York and
Or to
get them to
PayPal?
transfer it to me or after.
That PayPal money.
Like how else are you gonna like track it? Like I've heard with poker that it gets like pretty because it's such a like high stake thing. They actually track the IP of where you're playing from and like ban the
Really?
IP. Yeah, and when I've looked at like getting onto gambling sites in the past, because they haven't been like fully registered like to come through Canada, it's they like see your IPs from Canada, so you would have to use a VPN, otherwise like you're blocked out from the website.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Like
you were
they
so
need to
into
be
gambling.
legitimized. They need to like cover their asses when they're dealing with like this kind of laws. Like the gambling laws are very very weird.
Didn't realize you were so into gambling.
I'm not.
I'm not really sure.
Informed. I'm informed. I'm not into it.
Informed gambling. I'm not really sure how they track that or enforce that though. It seems questionable at best. Like
there's a number of ways. It all depends like where you want to target it, like where you want to target it from. But like these companies need to protect their asses because it takes nothing for a lawyer to say, hey, this guy lives in Nevada, all this stuff's in Nevada, and you guys paid him money. Explain yourself.
Who's gonna bring that to the court? Like
anyone they want to make an example out of.
Oh.
Like if
true.
you're any of these websites, like you need to like check everything twice.
It's the like gambling commission agency or whatever of Nevada that's placing the ban, so they have no problem taking a website like this to court and suing them for violating. Nah, I'm just kind of wondering though, are they actually putting the responsibility on the website to not pay out to anybody in Nevada, or are they putting the responsibility on the individual and they're like, hey, we found that you live in Nevada.
Probably a little bit of
you use the website, so you're gonna have to do some community service or what have you.
They're not. They can't put that on the user. It would all the blame would be put on the website. I like, at least in my opinion. Like
you're probably right. You're probably right. It's
up to them to not offer an illegal service to people. They're offering the service, right? Like if you buy pot and it's illegal, like they're going for the dealer, they're not going for.
They're going for both of them though. They're not going for. They're going.
No, you both did something illegal, but they're going for the pot dealer. They're not going for the smoker. Like,
I don't know.
I don't know. It depends on how much he's smoking, I guess.
Well, there's actually a law about how much you can carry, but not getting too much into illegal substance carrying. Pennsylvania, Illinois, Arizona, Iowa, and Louisiana, Montana, and Washington are also making decisions.
I don't see the point, honestly. Why? Like, I understand making them comply. I get that, all right, we tax all gambling in Nevada, so you need to be taxed appropriately as well, and you can only operate under certain conditions and within regulations. Well, like I get that. That all makes sense. But like banning it, why?
I don't know. It seems odd. Like it might be that it's probably like taxing makes sense to me, right? They're like, all right, well, you're obviously making money on this stuff, so we should make a little something too. But I don't know why you would straight up ban it. I don't really understand if that's necessary.
Yeah. We lost.
Well, that's fine. So while Bears lost, someone in the chat, Skillamaru says, it's sort of like your service provider can track it. So I guess your IP, your ISP. So sort of like how you download a game or a Game of Thrones, you get a letter from your service provider with the cease and desist order. So I guess that's what would technically happen. But I guess it has to be that they would have to come after you, right? They would have to be looking to be like, okay, someone's paying out. So it's the only way I could see that being the case. So yeah, don't worry, Rip Bear. Fortunately, he has cup and string internet. So I don't know. I'm against. Yeah. He lives in Kingston, so naturally he doesn't have real internet. I'm an anti-gambling kind of person, so
anti-gambling.
I'm anti-gambling, but not in the sense that I would go out on my way to stop somebody from gambling. I'm more like personally against gambling. So
you don't gamble, but you're not going to tell anybody else not to gamble.
Absolutely not. Like if somebody else wants to gamble, that's their business. But I personally do not believe in luck and games of luck. So I never of chance, yeah. So I never.
You don't buy like scratch tickets. Like conveniently, that's not your thing.
Never. I would don't get this wrong. I would definitely own a gambling company or a casino or a lottery. I would do it, but I personally would
Not
never.
above exploiting the weak, are we?
Absolutely not. I will let that be known on this show. I am not above it. It's a service like anything else, but
True
I
colors.
personally wouldn't. What?
Nothing. Just writing things down.
I'm not above it. Absolutely not above it. But you know what? I personally would not go ahead. I think it's a terrible addiction.
Like,
yeah, and I put it there like an addiction, like cigarettes or
All those
pornography.
gamblers in the
what?
chat.
That's not fair.
He's judging you.
That's not fair.
What? That it's an addiction?
Like, okay,
You
there's people
gamble,
who are addicted
might as
to
well
it.
be a smoker. You hear that?
Well, you might as
That's
well.
what you said, but like,
Might
that's,
as
I
well
hope that's
be a-
not what you meant.
What do you mean? What? Why would I say something I didn't mean?
There's a difference between playing the slots and like making informed decisions when you like play fantasy sports. When you bet
Do we
on
have any
fantasy
other
sports.
topics? Can we clear the schedule? Just focus on this.
I think no. This is obviously very important to Bear, and I agree. But no, I disagree. It's the same thing. Obviously, Nevada agreed with me. Same thing with the other states.
No. Let's be clear. Nevada wants a piece of the cake.
No.
This is hey. You need to be paying us some of that money that you're making off our people. Like, give us some of that money, and everything will be okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like that,
if
but
you choose not to partake because like you like don't have control over yourself, or you don't think you have like the competitive advantage to like profit off it, then yes, you're going to lose. And these systems are designed in such a way where the person who owns the company is going to make money at the end of the
in
day.
all honesty, though, fans shouldn't make more money than the players. Let's just put it like that.
Like
When
we've
I see-
already
when I-
addressed this every episode on why it causes so many issues. And that's
Well, this is where match fixing. This is why match fixing is as bad as it is, right?
Absolutely.
This is
Yep.
so like you shouldn't be making more money than the players while watching their game. It's like I don't get that. I don't
I agree with you
subscribe to
entirely.
that concept. I don't think that is a concept that makes sense.
So what you're against the possibility of it happening, or are you against like the morality of it in general? Like basically what I'm asking is, are you taking like a moral standpoint and saying gambling is wrong, or are you just saying like, gambling is fine as long as the people that are gambling can't make more money than the players?
Oh no, I'm taking a stance on that gambling is a sucker's game. Like
Suckers game.
sucker's game because
Smoking,
yep.
addicted suckers. All right.
Oh my god.
All right.
Oh my goodness! You all pay into the pot. It's always
that
it's
audience
always
out.
the house. It's always the house in the favor. House is always in favor. Now,
Yeah, that's a fact.
Like,
Because there
always.
will always be
Fantasy
dumb
league?
people.
Bear, do you play any fantasy leagues?
I don't, but
You don't.
like
Do you-
I'm
do you-
an
do you
advocate for
gamble
them
at all?
existing. No.
You don't. All right.
have you
I'm just-
have you played the slots? Niagara, maybe go to Niagara a little bit of
No,
something, something.
Slots is like that's the like most literal form of RNG. Like
All right.
Well, he play. Oh yeah, so there he goes. He plays Hearthstone, so he does gamble. He does.
Yeah.
Never mind. There we go.
You gamble those Blizzard bucks. But I'm just wondering if there's anybody in the chat that gambles and how they feel about being, a smoking.
oh no,
addicted-
I've taken offense to this.
That's-
I've already taken offense to this.
Well,
This is not
I know, but
cool.
he's not.
You know, and
calling
it's fine.
names.
Well, okay. I'm putting you in a category. So if you want to call it by association, you may. But like it's on a level
like
of
that
morality.
shoebox.
Do I owe you a
Doing
2
that
week notice before I
shoebox.
quit?
Woo! Yes. So, moving on to our next topic, or we will talk about gambling all night. Oh my goodness. So my Twitter's been set ablaze. Overwatch beta is today, apparently.
Oh,
It's Jesus. I don't even know where to start. Like, really, the real point that we're gonna discuss. There's 2 points I want to discuss. One thing is everyone seems to think that Overwatch is gonna be like the second coming of Blizzard Christ and is gonna just sweep the nation. So they obviously are believing that this game is gonna be the most amazing game. So much so that there are several teams, and I mean, none of these teams, like, I don't know if any of them are super high profile. I don't know if I'd call a lot of them, like Temple Storm, I guess, is pseudo high profile. But, a lot of teams are either A, searching for talent, like they're picking up T-Fortress 2 pros, laugh out loud, or other talent to fill up a roster for Overwatch. And the game is barely in beta. So a lot of people are just making this stance that they believe that Overwatch is going to be a really top tier esport. And I feel like we've talked about it before. In terms
like
of
Blizzard has proved that it won't be, if anything.
so yes, so that was my inclination. So I assumed, and this is probably foolish of me, that people would wait until the game. They knew how the game played. They heard what Blizzard's esports plans were, and then they would adjust accordingly. Temper it out, see which teams rise to the top, see what the field looks like, and then you know what? Do what we've always done. Buy that talent. You see a squad doing well, all right, you buy that squad, right? That to me seems like a good investment. Buying a squad before you even know the game seems like a silly and stupid investment. I'm gonna say it straight up. If you don't even know how the game plays, it's a crazy gamble, right? Because you're gonna have to pay for this. You're gonna have to
How
pay
do you
for
feel
this.
about that gamble?
Oh my goodness, this worse than smokers.
Suckers.
Like no, okay, you are absolutely a sucker if you go out and buy a team or a squad to play a game that has been out for only less than 24 hours, and you have no clue if the skills from one game will transfer to the other.
Or
Like,
if
do you
the
know
new
these-
game will even be an esport at all.
it's just, you know what? It's just so weird that you go and buy talent, but you don't have no clue if this talent is going to make your money back,
To me,
or
it's
if you're
like
going to make any money at all.
it's like
Do
I
you know
don't
what they're buying
know.
these
Horse
teams for?
racing is big, so I'm gonna buy a deer in case deer racing ever turns out. And this deer has lived fairly long in the wild, which means it's fairly survivable. I might just consider.
Just
I'm done.
sorry. That's probably your best analogy. I don't know what you'll do when they run out, but that was my favorite one so far.
I'm so scared of that day. You keep bringing it up, and I'm like,
It's just like I don't know where you get these from. I don't know where they come from. That was a legit like side splitting, because I just imagine somebody, because it's a great equivalency. Someone says, horse racing's happening. I buy a deer. It should technically translate because they're similar.
and
we have any-
maybe
have any
deer
ballpark-
racing is gonna be a thing one day, and I want to be ready. I want to have a good deer. What makes a good deer? You don't even know. Like you don't even know like how this game is gonna play yet. How do you know what's gonna make a good team? Like
What do you say, Bear? Sorry.
No, I'm just. Do we have any ballpark figures of like what these teams are being bought for? Like, I'm just trying to put some.
Oh, it's not like
context
they're not being paid, like they're just getting like
Business.
salary and
no, I would be surprised if these teams are even getting paid anything right now.
think
They're
so?
more just they're more just like, look, right now we're just picking you up. We pay our other teams relatively well.
oh,
this
the
becomes-
promise.
When this becomes a thing, we'll pay you.
So is
But
this
right now, I mean,
food
there-
and
you don't-
shelter.
Sorry.
This is food and shelter.
Probably food and shelter. I would imagine food and shelter. Like
Probably, yeah,
I don't think they're
probably
gonna move into the team houses, but
I don't know.
like
I personally, if I was a team owner, I think it would be really, it would be foolish of me. And I don't think that any of these team owners, like, I don't think that the person that owns Tempo Storm is an idiot by any measure. Like, there's
Yeah.
very little chance that that is the case because I don't know him personally, but I'm not gonna make that assumption about him just because he has run a relatively successful organization in esports, which to me denotes that he's not a complete imbecile. In which case, I'm gonna assume that he's not just like, you know what, this game is unproven, untested. You as a squad, unproven, untested. I don't know if there's gonna be any following, any kind of viewership. I'm ready and willing to like give you guys an opportunity. If it goes well, then we'll start paying you. But as of right now, we're just kind of like, like courting the issue, right? We're just gonna kind of see how it goes until the game is actually a thing. Like once you enter your first competition, then we'll negotiate salaries and such. But like, basically, it's just like a preferential relationship that if it does become a relatively successful game and organization, or I say relatively, I mean a budding, right? Like a potentially successful, then like we'll sign some money deals. But
so
I
let's take a good look at the landscape right now. Blizzard has 3 esports titles, and
three.
let's be honest.
Okay, hold on. I want like, what do you consider the esports? Let's,
Okay, what Blizzard considers anything that's going to be played at BlizzCon, I'm going to assume they consider it to be an esport title.
Then I
So-
think it's 4 then, isn't it?
then they have 4 because.
Oh, okay, you're right. Sorry, that's you're correct. World of Warcraft, I presume, then is considered part of their esports lineup.
Yeah, I
So
think
they have
World of
4
Warcraft-
games.
Yeah, go ahead.
They have 4 games that they consider esport, and it's going to be a part of this Blizzard
Lineup.
collection. Yeah, this Blizzard collection. None of these games really break a astonishing amount of money for people to live off of. From what I glean,
What
right?
were those numbers we were just looking at earlier today in terms of biggest esports? I think all of the aside StarCraft aside, being what could be
It's probably
claimed as
because of length of StarCraft being around. To be
I was gonna
honest,
say
from that.
StarCraft proclaimed as the first esport, if you will. Um, I think all the other Blizzard titles are in the realm of Smash, aren't they?
They are pretty low, if I recall correctly. Actually, would like to. I actually want to pull it up myself if I can find it. But I really do believe that most Blizzard titles do not produce a sustainable living for their players, and to me, that's terrible. In my opinion, I think a game that cannot sustain its player base financially so that they can live comfortably is a poor esport.
Yep.
I want to say that again. I think any game that cannot sustain their players financially is a poor esport. Okay, so I pulled it up. Jesus. Okay, so
Where's World of Warcraft on the list? I'm curious.
World of Warcraft is under Quake, but above World of Tanks.
Oh.
And I don't know. I don't think our audience can see this, but I'll give you a good. This is from eSports earnings. If you don't know, it's a site that basically tracks esports.
We can link it in the chat, I'm sure.
Yeah, we can. We most certainly can.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, so esports earnings. Dota is number 1 with a far margin from everyone else, followed by StarCraft being number 2. Now, this is accumulated from 1998. As you can see from the majority of StarCraft's money came from 2006 to 2008. That's probably when it was released. And I'm assuming this is actually across all of StarCraft. So this is StarCraft 1 and 2 are considered a single entity.
Yes.
Same League of Legends.
Dota, by the way.
Oh, does it conclude?
Dota is Dota 1 and 2, by the way.
Yeah, but it doesn't really start accumulating any money until 2010. Yeah.
Yes.
I
agree. I'm just.
But did anyone make any money in Dota 1? I don't.
Oh yeah, no, there is some money in Dota 1. Before 2008, you'll see it's relatively low, but it's there.
Followed by League of Legends and Counter-Strike. And these are obviously a bit more recent, especially Counter-Strike. Actually, no, Counter-Strike is pretty solid. It looks like people in Counter-Strike made just about same amount of money in 2008. Halo, which is probably MLG. Call of Duty, Warcraft 3. Jesus, Warcraft 3 is still on here. Quake, World of Warcraft, World of Tanks, Painkiller. I don't know why that's on there. And there we go. The next Blizzard title is Hearthstone, after Painkiller, but after FIFA. So sorry, before Painkiller and after FIFA. So, and Heroes of the Storm isn't on here. So I'm going to assume it's under other.
Yeah, nobody's made any real money off Heroes of the Storm. Sorry to tell you.
So either, and this is the collective. So actually, let's make this clear. This is collective money of all their players.
Yeah.
So it's the whole scene. So to me, this indicates a poor situation for their esports ecosystem because players aren't surviving. Right.
Well,
I don't know.
Let's
is that fair to
look
say?
at it this way. Yeah, I mean, let's look at the amount of Dota 2 pros or semi-pros, whatever, compared to these other games. There's obviously a lot more, and the amount of tournaments and sustainable events, it's a huge amount compared to the other games, compared to League of Legends.
I'm gonna take a shot in the dark. I'm gonna say the games that make the most tournaments on here are probably Dota, StarCraft, and Counter-Strike in terms of free reign tournaments. Mm-hmm. I would have to say those are probably the 3 that make the most independent tournaments.
Yep.
Halo, I agree, and that obviously correlates to the amount of money people are making, right? Because you could make the assumption that more independent tournament means a healthy ecosystem for people to make money off of, right? This is obviously not just the publisher paying out. This is every organizer paying out money to the players.
It's not selective about who makes money. Is really what it comes down to. If you're good at the game, you're gonna make money. That's what it is. It's not. So, you don't need to be a Riot approved individual to make.
So tying us back to Overwatch. This is, I think that Blizzard has a poor track record of creating games that sustain their players.
To be fair, if we combine all of the Blizzard titles, they almost make Dota, but that being said, I think this graph shows that Blizzard can have both successful and unsuccessful esports. Like StarCraft, relatively successful esport.
Until Blizzard touched it.
Yes, and that's where I say, you know what? Just looking at this chart, if you didn't know the history of StarCraft, you'd say, well, there's a decent likelihood that Blizzard will produce a successful esport. World of Warcraft somewhere near the top there. StarCraft done really well, so there's a chance. There is a chance that this is going to be like the next best esport. Is it? In anybody's expert opinion, is that the case? I'm going to say no.
You know what this is? This is a Rocket League. In my eyes, this is a Rocket League. This is everyone is going to be so hot on this game. We're all going to get, need to cool ourselves off with some water because we're just so hot for Overwatch. And then 4 months go by, and then we're just like,
I just think you can finally play a support in a first-person shooter. Like, that's amazing, right?
Isn't that what TF2 did that, right? Isn't that?
Yeah.
I'm
Doesn't
sorry, I'm marginalizing one of its main features. Yes. It's not like everybody that I talk to that like doesn't play FPSs, I'm like, why don't you play FPS? They're like, I'm not good at the first-person shooter thing. Like, I wish there was other roles and stuff like that. Like, there's just no game that offers that. And I'm like,
I think it'll be fun though. Like, I think this will be a fun game.
You never played any of the Half-Life mods if you think that you have.
Like, I'll play this game with you guys. Like, this is a game I'll play. But this is kind of same kind of game I would play in the category of Left 4 Dead. Like, I would play it for friends and fun. But
it's like any other Blizzard title. It's casual and fun, and there will be some events and hype around it and all that kind of stuff. But is it gonna top any leaderboards? I'm just gonna say no.
Okay, I have a couple things I don't want to say. The first being, if you look at Blizzard's track record, they're like a big company that's backing this title, and you can kind of take StarCraft as eSports beta or eSports alpha. Here's a Storm eSports beta, and here you come in at Overwatch, where now they know what they're doing in terms of making this, at least knowing how to market it. I don't know, but like that being said, as a genre, I don't know if it's gonna stick. I don't see how it's competitive enough to warrant this like huge scene. It looks like a children's game to me, and I don't understand the hype about it. I think us three are in the minority here. Like, people have been going ape shit for this fucking game.
Well, and to be fair,
like I saw someone ready to throw their grandma out a window if they could get a beta key.
And it's
that's how.
Okay.
What was that?
I don't know if I'm lagging or if. Oh, just carry on. Okay. Ignore me.
Yeah. So I think Blizzard knows what they're doing, and like this, like maybe Rocket League didn't catch on because they don't have the name that Blizzard carries. Like that has weight, whether you guys accept it or not. I mean,
I'm sure Blizzard actually believes. I believe Blizzard believes exactly what you said. I believe they're like, we just need to put it under our brand and it'll be successful.
Well, like, think how many card games have been created since like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon. Like, how many of them have actually sticked? None, because Blizzard said, "Oh, we're making a card game," and then it stuck. Like, what?
Okay. To be fair, though, Hearthstone is not a competitive esport. Like, I'm just gonna put that out there right now. like it or not, randomized moving GIFs is not an esport. That's not
a discussion for another day. But
it's not really a discussion. It's more just the fact. It's more just looking at the numbers. Like, it's not. You can I'm not saying there's not celebrities and a huge scene and following. By every measure of Blizzard, it's a very successful title. Hearthstone is grossly successful
financially. I think it's financially successful.
No, from every measure of Blizzard's interest, not just financially, but user base, interest, like the whole thing. Like, they love that project, and they should. Is it an esport? No. And I'm gonna say the same thing about Heroes of the Storm too. Like, hugely successful. Tons of people play it. Lots of people love it. Is it an esport? Absolutely not. Sorry.
Would you say what about World of Warcraft?
Same thing. And all of those titles are in the place, and that's what StarCraft is suffering from. It's been Blizzarded. Like, it was an esport, and then Blizzard got involved, and now everybody that played StarCraft competitively as an esport is kind of like, stop, what are you doing to our game? And they're like, what? We're just doing the same thing that we did to Warcraft, Heroes of the Storm, and Hearthstone.
Blizzardized it?
Yeah, and everybody's getting upset over that. They should be, but either way, I'm just saying, like, I don't see how this is going to be any different. Like,
I mean, it's gonna be... your chirps at Hearthstone aside,
chirps.
Like, Blizzard, Blizzard has some weight to it. Like when Blizzard says we're backing this, it does, and that's why people. This is what's causing the hype right now. If this was any other publisher, people are like screw this, just it's TF2 with flashier skins. Like that's, and it would get.
Isn't that what it is though?
And it would be the bottom of the Steam market, and like no one would ever buy it, and that's it.
Honestly, like, sorry, go ahead, Bear.
No, I'm just saying, like, because it has that Blizzard name, and like, Blizzard's track record in the last maybe let's say 10 years has been, oh, we're an esports brand now. Yeah, that's where this hype is being generated from. But that's
the thing, though. Blizzard itself has said it's not an esport. Like they came out and said like we don't want this. This is not like we're not going to be.
We don't
designing
do them. Blizzard's motto is you should be able to play any of their games with your grandmother. That's not. I'm sorry.
No, that's the new motto. That's like the 2015 motto.
Yeah. No, that's like the last 5 years motto.
Yeah, I agree with you.
They made a statement like it was a PC Gamer magazine interview where they said that we don't want to. They think they made the mistake with StarCraft by going focused on esport when they did StarCraft 2, and they want to do a different approach with Overwatch, and they're not doing the esport. So the esports is coming from people wanting it to be an esport. So it's more like everyone wants Overwatch to be an esport. They think it could be the next big wave, and everyone wants to be right now being in that position. No one wants to be on the outside. No one wants to be the person that says, "Oh, I didn't jump on Overwatch. Overwatch is now the big hotness." And so many people regret League of Legends. They regret not being that person that started at League of Legends when it was in beta. And then when the Riot, SS Riot came rolling through their city, picked up 2 other people and left them behind, they're a bit salty. And some people just remember that salt, right? That salt lives with you forever, like a wound that will never heal. It's just forever. Being abandoned by the Riot boat it's painful, right? So, especially when you see all what's going on at Worlds. So let's move on to the next topic because I don't know if we can beat this more to death. Speaking of Riot, what a good segue. So Riot, interestingly enough, is currently deciding. I guess it's not really completely clear. They're currently deciding whether or not they should lease out the spots of the LCS to teams. So, essentially, if you sell your team, you don't keep the spot without Riot's approval.
Well, hold on. What happens in League of Legends without Riot's approval?
The answer is nothing.
Nothing.
The answer is nothing.
So I'm a little bit confused by this.
So currently what happens like this is if you have a team in League of Legends and you are currently up for the LCS, and Riot if you decide to sell your team, which was the case with Dignitas. Dignitas has 2 teams and decided to sell one of them.
Yeah.
And he sold that team for $1 million. $1
million.
$1 million. He sold that team for $1 million. Because that team's value came from its positioning in owning an LCS spot, which is incredibly valuable because it's incredibly hard to acquire. So now Riot is kind of thinking, you know what? Maybe we should,
capitalize.
You capitalize on it. Yeah, of course, right?
People selling these teams for $1 million and we're not getting a share. What is this?
Well, that is a valid question, right? It's their asset that forces the valuation, right? The LCS is why their team is ranked so valuable.
So you buy a house, you got to pay a property tax.
That's it, right? That's what Riot is saying. Riot is like
Riot tax.
It's not your house that's valuable; it's the land your house sits on that makes it so valuable. So now we're in this position where Riot kind of looks a lot like the NFL. Agree or disagree?
I agree. Agree or disagree that it looks like the end?
Yes.
Yeah,
are we feeling that Riot is closing on NFL status?
More like government status, but yeah.
They work so heavily. They work so heavily to protect their brand, and I mean, it's almost you never know what's going to trip them up. Unless you read every line of that fine contract, but. They protect their brand so much, and they really just like they nurture it and care for it and caress it. So like it just seems like the natural step for them. Like they're already like this dictator for their game. Like they might as well just say, hey, like we own you now. Like it seems like the natural progression and the way things are going.
It is a very much natural progression because right now you think about this, the main tool of this is, Riot obviously says this is to protect from unethical team owners from gaining status within the league.
Okay,
but
like don't get me wrong, I'm all for protecting the teams, protecting the players. I just don't think that Riot should be doing it. This is a case.
Who else if not them?
Appoint a third party, like create an organization and put them in charge of it, because when this is Riot being judge, jury, and executioner. Honestly, like that's it's
their country. I mean, many
play their game.
It's their country. It's their land.
Like you want to play this game, that like these are the rules you need to play by. I don't. If I was a competitive gamer, I would not be playing League of Legends because of these reasons.
Really?
Like
I think this offers stability, in my opinion. I see this as a stable, sure it's state controlled, but your house isn't going anywhere.
No, because as let's say I'm a player, I could be equally good at any game provided I put in the time. Like League of Legends doesn't make sense to me because I would need to be picked up by a team that has the money to be in the LCS. I need to be for a team that's already playing in the qualifiers to take the 1 or 2 spots that they open up every year.
That happens in all professional sports.
No, hold on. But if that doesn't happen, then I'm fucked because there's no other tournaments for the game. There's no dream hack for League of Legends. Like,
this honestly feels like the royalty model. Like, you have the king sits on top. That's Riot and his like stewards and lords and if you're not an established team, an established organization in Riot's favor, then Bear's right. You got nothing going for you. Like
that, and I believe that there is some truth to that when it comes to things such as, getting into the LCS and stuff like that. But there is a challenger system. There are systems in place to allow teams to rise and fall and, go up and go down. It's not like, Riot handpicked these teams based on how much they had dinner with them, right? Yeah. And said you're in the LCS and you're not because
who's to say they couldn't?
To an extent, the ones that are already in power are going to stay in power, and that's what it comes down to. There's no for like a good example, and I know I'll say it a million times is Dota, just because very recently in the last 2 months, Vega Squadron came pretty much out of nowhere and took over the tier 1 scene. Everybody's just like, where did this organization come from, and how long before Navi buys them? And that really is just by virtue of the players being amazing players, sticking it out, developing as a squad, and becoming a really, really solid lineup. And that doesn't happen I hate to say it, I just don't see that happening in League of Legends. Something like that happens, players just get picked up and go to LCS teams because that's where they want to be. That's where they're going to make money. They have no opportunity to make money.
But once you get in there, the dream is fulfilled.
Yeah, once you marry the king's daughter, then the dream is fulfilled. But I mean,
glad you said that.
But chances of that happening slim at best, considering she's got 10 other suitors lined up already. So
waiting outside the door.
They're just waiting for their chance to start making a piece of that Riot cake. Like,
like you have to once you get in, that's it, right? You're set, right? So you're set. You're done. That's it. No worries.
It's true.
Yeah, I can't. It's hard for me to dispute that to being true. Like there's obviously.
You like the stability, that's great. Assuming that you're already baked into it. But I mean, if you're not, then good luck. And I mean, honestly, like people will say, well, how is any other game better? Dota, for example, like Secret, all these Monkey Business, all these teams that are coming up right now, including Vega and all these teams, they all have like 8K pub players, basically just like pub stars that are joining these rosters because skill dominates. If you're good, you're gonna get picked up and you're gonna get money by winning. Otherwise,
that's it.
That's it. Like that's all you got going for you. It doesn't matter how big your team is or your organization. If you suck, you suck. But in League of Legends, as long as your team pays the rent.
Well, no, if you lose out of LCS, like out of your up and downs, and you go back to Challenger, if I remember correctly.
you'll just get replaced.
No, this is like I find this to be very anti-competitive in a
You think
competitive
so?
game. Yeah,
I don't know.
It really shoos away potential people, potential good teams that could just rise out of nowhere.
Well, that's the thing, though.
I don't think it does that. Honestly, I'm gonna say I don't think it does that, just because what I do think it does is that it keeps the teams that are already in play. They're gonna stay in play. It doesn't give rise to new organizations. It gives rise to players. If you're a good player, you're just gonna get picked up by one of the teams.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean.
I agree.
No.
I agree with that.
So it's you're right. It's the organizations in play will stay in play, and new organizations won't come in, and that's how the NFL runs. Like you don't see the I'm gonna butcher like football to death, but Tampa Bay something, leaving the next month. Tampa Bay, whatever, always stays there, or the Sharks or whatever. Those teams, organizations are a staple. They're never going to get replaced unless the team has to move or it becomes unprofitable or something like that. And they
just get bought up and whatever.
Not even then, right? And in that case, it's just and that's not necessarily wrong, because that obviously has worked for the NFL for a very, very long time, and we see this thing where new people start onto those games all the time. Like new players come in and out of those teams.
Every year.
Athletes every year. They get traded, they get moved, they get shuffled. But the owners have pretty much die and pass them on to their children. So that's it, right? And so I would say from a financial competitive, from a business perspective, it's really bad. From a player's perspective, I think it's the same system no matter what. It's the same competitiveness than anything.
Yeah, I think it might introduce more money into the system overall, though, because if you're a sponsor, it makes it a lot. If I'm Coca-Cola, I'm more likely to sponsor one of those teams.
Absolutely,
because I know they'll be there.
Because I know that team won't disappear overnight. Yeah, I know exactly. I know this team isn't gonna just pack up tomorrow and just close because Riot won't allow it.
Until Riot starts banning out all your sponsors.
Okay, then yes, that's obviously the case, but that's like anything, like in NFL. You
can only have a sponsor from the approved list of sponsors, for example.
Yeah, but this is that's the same system we've had for major sports for the last 50, plus years. I'm assuming football is that old. Correct. Well, good point. You're right. No, that's a very valid statement. It doesn't. You're right. It doesn't make it correct, but it does sort of set a precedent of how it has worked. And the only real problem we've had, at least with NFL, have been, player. I don't even think player lockouts. That seems to be more of an NHL problem. But there's this thing where it comes for revenue sharing fees being in proportional to the players versus the team owners, and those kind of things seem to be the biggest problems from that system. I don't know if that's something we'll see in our system, where players I'm going on strike because I don't think I get enough money. Obviously, we saw a little union thing or a cabal, but I don't know if players are ready to say that I'm not going to play I'm not going to be playing this game anymore until I get some more money from Riot. I don't know if we're at that level to be doing those kind of things. So I wanted to do, this actually leads into a really great discussion. This is my favorite part. We're going to Debaitable. This will be the last segment for the night. And Tamir, you might actually have to be moderator, just because we had a little, or you might be able to jump in. We'll see. And so the reason why it is because Bear had the audacity to rustle my jimmies with this discussion earlier. Is VR the next esports frontier? Is this the next thing that's going to turn esports into people got to turn heads and this esports thing just jumped up, through the roof?
Wait, hold on. You're phrasing this as the next.
No.
Okay.
Not
hold on. Stop. Next. I am the moderator. I am the moderator. Fair.
What's up?
Do you think that VR, virtual reality, has a place in esports?
No.
No?
No, not at all.
You don't think? Not at all?
No.
Draken, what do you think? I'm curious.
Jeez. So VR, esports is the only sport, and I'm going to put it in a free place of the sport, the only sort of activity that is directly linked to technology. So as technology grows, before we carried our CRTs, we brought them to our LAN parties. Then the internet became a good thing, and suddenly we're connected. And as the technology grows, our esports grows. Esports grows exponentially. And I think VR will perpetuate esports into an entire new level. Absolutely.
So it does have a space.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, Bear, why do you think it doesn't?
I think the first thing is one, the technology just isn't there yet. I mean, in the future, sure, fine.
Oh,
it might
that
no,
backpedaling.
listen, no, hold on. I'm not giving you anything. Don't worry. Like, take that, hold on to it. That's all you're getting from me. I like it induces this like large barrier to entry, and so you got to wear a helmet. So I'm wearing this helmet now, and now I got to be in like my own world, and I'm walking around like an idiot, like casting spells and all that BS. Like it removes what people like from the game. It's not. I don't see it being competitive to have 10 people on stage with helmets on. Like the whole reason, but like what I was saying earlier was like 3D TVs have not caught on. Why? Because they're too expensive. Like it just people don't want to wear shit. Like that at the end of the day, people don't want to wear anything when they're playing.
That's the thing, though. We used to say that people didn't want to carry fucking pieces of glass in their pockets because why would they need that when they can just pick up their landline? Technology just changes our lives, and I think that you're completely wrong.
They might remove the aspect of having to wear like 3D TVs where you have to wear stuff.
But even before,
make it a hologram, sure.
Even that before, even going step before, even like I said before, even in our chat, I didn't think that current VR technology will be the thing that changes. Like I don't think Oculus Rift 1 will change or get into esports, but Oculus Rift 2 and 3, I think so. And the reason why I think so is because esports and like regular sports are going to converge into a middle. Right? There's going to be a level where the physical aspect of being in a sport and physically being able to do something and the digital capability of designing, worlds and abilities far without our capability will merge. And I think VR will be that bridge. I think VR will be the bridge between our physical capabilities and the abilities to do, freaking spells and shit with our hands to making it, available in a competitive environment. Right? I think it just creates such a level of skill that is unbeknown, like from even just our keyboards and mice at this point, that I think it will catch into esports.
I think you're inducing too many variables into what will make like a game competitive. Like as VR technology, as a single player game, great. As maybe a multiplayer experience, fine.
That's the thing. I think the exact opposite. I think that as a single player, I don't think very many people are going to. I think some people will catch it. I think VR will be fun for actual regular games. I actually think the travel industry will probably take VR more than actual gaming. I think like people are going to want to go on virtual vacations more than they're going to want to play in their room with freaking Oculus. I think that will be more personally. But I think from a competitive level, from a competition level, that the level that VR can open up towards is almost infinite. Like it's so much more than just the limitations that we currently have, right? And I think I think competitive scene we're more likely to. This is assuming the games are designed properly. Like I can't like if the games are.
I'm taking that, yeah.
Assumption.
We're assuming that the games that are designed they're designed properly, right?
I'm assuming a genre exists where like this system would be competitive.
I think though I think like MOBAs, fighting games, shooters are I think they will be the three kind of games that really jive. I'm not sure about RTS, but I feel like the big three will really jive with that kind of, especially fighting games. I think like fighting games,
Oh my god!
And I think fighting games will find a new home on VR. Like they will really sort of take this level.
For the lawsuits.
What? Why?
Kids are gonna be punching each other, and
you don't physically hit each other. Like think of that's why it's called virtual reality. If they were hitting each other, then this would be the UFC, right?
Hey,
so
you want to bridge this gap? I don't know how far. I don't know how long this bridge is.
No, it's gonna ultimately. I believe it's gonna make that connection. I see that. Especially, I think it'll take off better than mobile esports. I'll say that right off the bat. I think mobile esports is a stunted growth, and then I think when VR comes, it'll just shit all over mobile esports. Like And I'm not saying mobile gaming. I want you to make that a case. Like mobile gaming still makes a crap ton of money, but like mobile esports compared to like VR esports will shit all over mobile esports.
Okay.
I'm going to say that right off them.
We're
In terms of
closer.
money,
No, okay,
What?
we're closer to me getting a controller or using a keyboard and mouse as an input to my tablet and playing a game competitively than we are to this world where we got to wear a helmet and walk around like
well,
idiots.
that world is already here. The world of keyboard and mice, that's already here. Like,
No. I'm saying we're closer to mobile esports having an existing title, like a titan in the industry. We're
only
closer
if only if you're focusing on Hearthstone. Like,
no. I'm removing Hearthstone from the equation. I see it as a card game, not necessarily like
okay,
esport, not
then
like
there's
not
no
a real
esport
time
then.
sport.
Then there's no
Fine.
mobile esport. Then if you don't put Hearthstone, because there's no game other than Vainglory, quote unquote, that will be a legit esports where people are gonna make their living. Crowds are gonna come. The people will pay real money to come watch. But ain't nobody.
Why is that any different than you playing on your computer or your laptop? Like if the game exists, then the game exists. Like you can't. I don't think the title has existed, but I mean we're not far from like Dota being able to run off my.
It's okay, but the thing is,
my iPhone and then I can just look it up, plug in all my crap, and then play.
People appreciate, and they can like the difficulty it takes to compete. So when someone plays Dota, StarCraft, even League of Legends, fans really appreciate what the players are going through because they see it themselves. They play it themselves and they understand the difficulty from their crappy level to that pro level is a huge gap. And that's what makes it so exciting to watch. When I'm watching a mobile esports and the buttons are 3 buttons, swipe left and press harder and press lighter, there's no appreciation. Tinder. It's equivalent to like, would you be impressed if you watch competitive Tinder? And I think the answer is no. But I think VR puts a dimension of competition that we won't naturally see, that I think will be more difficult to measure than even the keyboard and mouse. Like the skill that you do in a keyboard and mouse, you can measure it. And then when you come to VR, that skill gap grows even higher. The ability to perform. I'm making these assumptions. You're right, there are a bunch of assumptions that you're going to have to do actual commands, maybe move your hands. Perhaps you actually have to throw a fireball perfectly or whatever it is to make these things happen in a competitive game.
Some Harry Potter shit right
there.
Legit Harry Potter shit going on there.
We're very far from this technology being that reliable, where physically hitting a keystroke is just as reliable as me punching.
But that's not an argument against it. Like the technology will get there.
Technology permitting, but I'm telling you, like that gap is large. Like,
so you can agree to me then. So you can agree that if we had the technology that gets to that spot, VR esports would take it.
No,
what?
What? I don't think I don't think in your lifetime. If I'm being completely honest, if it were to happen, it wouldn't be in your lifetime.
If you ask,
we have the technological barrier, which is number one. The technology is garbage. Like it works.
Okay.
It was fun.
If I've noticed anything in the last 5 to 6 years, that we as a society, as a society, have jumped through technology faster than anybody would have ever guessed. We've been able to perfect our technology without, with leaps and bounds. So I ask you again. I'm thinking 50 years, but I'm pretty sure it'll be less than that. So if
it would be that long,
I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. So if VR technology was able to accelerate its growth to the point where it is accurate, physically 1-to-1, accurate, can you see it that esports would latch onto it?
Are you going to being a lawyer and let me finish my points, or does it sound
I just wanted a yes. I just wanted a yes or no.
No. Okay,
Rip. I would assume that his internet problems is a yes. Internet rip. Nope.
Yeah.
You good? I'm good.
Your internet's dying.
I can hear you guys perfectly.
We can't hear you.
And we can't see your video was gone. But try to get your point out because I want to hear it before we should end this segment. Oh,
and he's totally gone.
We good?
Nope.
No, we just hear you audio, only audio.
Okay, audio for now. My video's on, so it'll come back. No, all I'm saying is number one, we have to break the technology barrier, which
Okay.
is very far from like that's a huge thing from having sensors that accurately read every movement you're making precisely where it's like people like players complain if there's like 1 millisecond lag on the servers. Like, do you know like if the sensor's not calibrated perfectly, it's not getting the exact voltage, it's not reading the exact value.
These
Then
are all
you're,
minuscule
no, no, no,
things.
no.
These are
Then
all
your
like
thing
Yeah.
is not registered correctly. No, no.
Let me
You're
put
talking
it
about
this way.
competitive where money's on the line. People are not risking any of this crap. So that's the
20 years
first one. It's
ago-
technology.
20
The
years
second,
ago,
hold on.
doctors. Oh, okay, whatever. Go for it.
Okay, no, go. If you have something on that point, because I'm gonna
no,
like,
no, no.
on
He's a
that- on
moderator.
that
No,
point.
let Bear go. I want to hear these
All right.
points.
Okay, go for it.
No, and then the second one is you have to break the financial barrier, and
Okay.
and that's a big one too, because we're living.
How much it cost?
How much it costs to own this technology, and how much it costs to compete, because like computers are at the point now where you could go to Best Buy willingly, buy any laptop on that shelf, and you know that it'll be able to run StarCraft on,
like
for $500. You know any laptop on that shelf is gonna be able to run StarCraft on low settings, Dota on low settings, Counter Strike on low settings, at 60 FPS.
Okay.
Right? Like you really don't need to buy it.
Yeah, but the Oculus isn't more than like $400-$500, and then each Valve just announced their thing is like what $99. It's like it's not even crazy.
Like,
We're not talking crazy expensive here.
This cost needs to come all the way fucking down before
To what,
anyone's gonna compete. No, not free, but in like no one like it's a luxury. That's what it is. This is a luxury for.
You think those? So what you're saying is you think the barriers to entry is what's going to stop it from being adopted?
Yes, that and the technology. So the financial barrier and the technology barrier.
I will go with the financial barrier because the technology I think doesn't make any difference, because with Silicon Valley on the case, that technology will come through like easy peasy. They have no desire to let anything rest. Cost sometimes I can agree with you that cost is sometimes a legit barrier where people be like, oh, I don't want to spend $500, $600, and that comes down to adoption. That comes down to if people adopt it and people are like, oh, this is something cool, and then they might buy it, right? And then but I think that people, as long as people think it's cool enough, they don't care. It doesn't matter how much. It doesn't matter if it's $500, $600, even $1,000. Like people buy iPhones for God's sake. Each one of those little pieces of creatures are like $1,000 a piece, and people just subsidize it, right? They just subsidize it and they pay it over time. If that became a thing, VR could easily overcome those kind of challenges when it comes to financial.
So you
right?
think people are going to finance a virtual reality helmet? I want to Dota. I gotta get my.
People are financed stupider things, but
I don't disagree with that.
Like,
I don't think anybody that wanted to play pro football financed the football field. That's really what it comes down to.
Like
that's if it becomes a sport and there's there'll be virtual reality headset centers where you go to practice, train, scrim, what have you. There's solutions to those things. That's not. But I'm just the moderator.
What I think is that the amount of precision that you need, like technologically though, is insane. And the more precise you get, the more precise you get, the more expensive it gets. So
okay.
And
I don't know if that's a one-to-one. I'm not gonna. Our technology gets so much smaller, so much cheaper at scale that's completely irrelevant. The cost thing was the only thing I was even remotely willing to recede on because that made sense to me. But technology, there used to be a time when this computer would fill an entire room and it would cost like $15,000. Now
when your phone would do that, and make no mistake, 20 years ago, doctors couldn't perform surgery from across the ocean. Like there's.
So okay, that's the example I'm thinking of. That's the example I'm thinking of, and I dare you to go look what one of those robots cost. Like but
we're not talking about the same cost of a surgical robot and in the same cost of a VR headset.
It's the same level of precision that you need. It's the exact level of precision.
You think so? You think okay?
Go talk to any pro player. Tell them they're gonna have 50 milliseconds ping at your LAN. Tell me if they'll play. Like they're not risking anything. When there's money on the line, when you train every single day, you wake up in the morning, you do not want anything screwing with you.
And you think that technological advancement is beyond the VR capability any more so than it is currently with our own computers. Like when we play Counter Strike, Dota, and StarCraft, whatever, that's still a factor. That's always going to be a factor. Like, we can't get rid of lag. Ping is always going to be our factor. As long as we are not playing in the same physical location, ping will always be the case. People will just train aside, and then when they go play in the arena, stadiums, LAN, whatever it's called at the time, then they'll be in the real practice. That'll be like the real deal, right? Isn't that what we do now?
Okay, but mitigating that to it until it's on a level that you can compete in is that's the issue I have. I don't think it'll ever be perfect. I mean, there's still gonna be lag between it going through my keystroke and going to my computer, no matter what USB standard you're using. It doesn't matter. But to bring down that lag difference or any sensor issue, like you're looking at a very long time from now before you see this competitive play, before someone's playing the ACC with their virtual reality headset.
50 years. That's it. I want us to look back on this episode. 50 years. They will dig this episode out, and they will see that I was right. What year are we now? 2015.
Who's pushing this technology? Who's gonna push it?
Wow, I don't know. They may not even be existing right now. A new company might just rise out of the ashes, crawl out, and then buy AMD, Microsoft, Intel, and then create this conglomerate, and then take that technology to the. Have you ever watched the movie Gamer? It's a bad example in terms of like actual good movie, but the concept was solid, where someone will take that stuff and learn how to make a lot of money on it, and that's what will fuel the technology. Because once you can make money off of it, R&D is easy, right? Like I said, it's a terrible movie. Gamer was a terrible movie, but it shows a little fantasy level of what a virtual gaming world could be like, played for the entertainment of others.
You're okay, so. But I see it. It's cool.
Oh.
Don't get me wrong. It's cool.
Bear said it's cool. There it is. I win.
I'm not playing anything competitive with a helmet on. I'm talking.
All right, so let's just leave it at that.
No. I just want to say something. When you compare this to computers that used to fill rooms, you got to keep in mind that the entire world needed computers to be smaller because it pushed our entire society to be faster and more efficient. This is so a bunch of nerds can play some video games.
No.
But think what's pushing this technology.
Don't undermine the other applications of virtual reality to serve your argument.
Okay, the porn industry is the only thing that's gonna be pushing this. I'm being completely honest.
No.
And porn industry is a pretty
it won't be the
big
gaming
industry.
it'll be the porn industry.
And if it was, you know what? That would be more than enough. But that's not true either.
So, yes, absolutely. I think we should end it there. But that, I'm willing to. I'm going to restrict that last one to the record because I'm pretty sure multiple industries will jump in and get all over that VR bubble.
Oh yeah,
it's not the entire world. The entire world wanted computers quicker.
You know what, Bear? If we had your kind of thought, we would still be riding horses to work.
It. You're the person that said, "Why make a gun when we have a sword?" That's what.
That's not the kind of person I am. Trust me. I love the technology. I love seeing what's to come. But when you're talking about this for competitive application, no, I don't see it. I mean, someone said in the chat that they will never meet, and I agree with that entirely. They're just esports and VR are just two different ways.
Oh my god, that's such a I cannot tell you how much I disagree with that. But obviously, that's why we're having this debate in the first place.
Yeah.
It's just I disagree. But
you obviously got baited.
Obviously, that's what this clickbaited came right into it. But anyways, let's end it off there. Let's talk about final thoughts, guys. Final thoughts. Bear on rest in peace fantasy esports. Are we going to see a lot more of this crap banned across North America?
I don't know state by state and country by country who deals with which laws and how they're dealt with, because anyone who can have a say in this has a say in this. Fantasy esports is gonna be very interesting. We're gonna this is gonna be an ongoing topic for the rest of 2016.
Yes,
as
gambling
more popular. I don't like it. Nevada just wants a piece of it with this story specifically. Nevada just wants a piece of it. They want to make sure they're legit, but that just means that they're paying them commission. So it'll be fine. It'll all be sorted out.
Work out instead. Your final thoughts, Tamir? Same topic.
I have no doubt that this Nevada thing will pass. They'll get it sorted out. Or maybe Nevada's not that important to them in terms of demographic that they don't care. But I don't see this becoming a widespread thing. I really, and if it does, if other states, countries even try and outlie it, I don't see it standing for very long. There's just no good reason behind it. Like, I agree they need to pay the fees, they need to conform to the other standards that gambling websites and the industry sets. But once they do that, there's no barriers.
I am in the mindset that I think this will be a great thing because this is going to eliminate the amount of esports, not esports, the amount of fantasy sports sites that are coming up. This is a huge barrier for them. So this is only a great way to control you addicts. So there.
Them
All right.
suckers.
Those smokers.
Is Overwatch the new hotness, Tamir?
Absolutely not. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a Blizzard title. I enjoy almost every Blizzard title, and I think that it'll be fun. It's a great game. Blizzard make great games. They don't make esports. That's it.
Is Overwatch the new hotness, Bear?
No, like I said before, we're all in the minority here. Everyone thinks it's the second coming.
Of
No, I
what?
don't.
Second coming of Team Fortress.
Practically.
A Blizzard
Jesus Christ
esports.
himself.
I don't know what people are expecting this to be, but no, I just don't have high hopes for this game. It's gonna be talked about. It's gonna be like Heroes of the Storm. Be talked about for a bit, just kind of linger off till it dies.
Because I am actually, like, I'm looking through my feed right now, and I have at least 4 people in my feed that have just announced that they have the invite, and it's like, people are like, oh my god, so jelly, can't wait, I have to have this game, please touch me, right? It's, what I'm really interested to see is the stream numbers. I'm interested to see if Twitch, like, as a beta, are people like crawling over this right now? So 131,000 people are watching this, making it the most watched thing on Twitch right now.
Wow.
Expected, obviously.
Hmm?
Well, to be expected. I mean.
Yes, absolutely.
Same thing happened with Heroes of the Storm.
It happened with everything. So I'm interested to see how long this lasts, and to see when the tournaments start rolling out, who's running tournaments for this.
Yeah, it's more about what Blizzard does with it than anything.
Absolutely.
Right?
So it's true, because this tournament, maybe this does have potential to be an esport. Am I going to be putting any bets in there? Like, am I going to be putting any money down?
No.
Probably not. Like, I don't see that happening on my end. Will I buy this? You probably don't have to buy it. It's probably going to be free to play.
Really?
That's the assumption.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't
With
it be?
skins.
Oh.
That's a new motto. This is the 2010 Blizzard talking.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it not be free? Like that's what killed Star Wars Battlefront for me. It's like, it's only a fully multiplayer game. Am I ready to swill out $70 to play your game? Nope, not really. You made a really good game though. It was an amazing game. Loved it, but wasn't ready to put $70 in it. So,
Yeah, at least today it's a lot. It's a big ask up front.
It's a big ask. But the thing is, though, like, easily in a game that you love with microtransactions, you'll spend well over $70.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
No guarantee. Like, it's guaranteed over the lifetime of you playing a game, you'll spend much more than $70.
People drop
right?
like $1,000 on a single international in Dota. Talk about $70, like.
So, to me, it almost feels archaic to ask me to spend $70. Honestly, if they had told me to spend $30, I would have probably relented, because it was a very well game, a lot of play value. But anyways, not going into the tangent on there. Riot turning into the NFL. Bear, how do you feel about this?
Same time every time we talk about Riot. I like this from.
You believe in them?
No, I like watching from the sidelines on what's happening, because 10 years from now, when this is a much more solid industry, we now have a business model to look at they're doing this entire model correctly. They're very consistent on how they're handling it. Everything's legitimized. So in 10 years, when a new game pops up, we can look back at the Riot model and say, what happened, what failed, why didn't this work, why does it work? And I'm glad that we're seeing a different model exist from like the Dota and I guess StarCraft, Counter-Strike. They're all kind of like the same model. I like that we get to see this and watch what happens in an entirely new scene and learn from it. So, yeah.
Thoughts, Tamir? Same topic.
I'm not sure. One more time. Question. Bear kind of sidetracked me there. I was thinking about it because what Bear was saying.
Riot turning into the NFL.
That's what it was. Bear's comments kind of sidetracked me with thinking how StarCraft, CS:GO, and Dota are very different.
I knew it. I knew that was.
I was like,
that was...
they're not the same system at all. But and then Riot.
I knew it.
I mean, it's good for Riot. It's totally predictable. It's exactly what they want, and if their fans don't mind, then there's nothing wrong with it. Personally, I don't like it, just because I don't work for Riot. So there's no, like, if I'm sure if I worked for Riot, it would be good for me. Since I don't, it's kind of like, well, that it's just more of the Riot monopoly. It's not anything special.
I can agree. So my final thoughts on that topic is I do like the idea of where Riot is taking their franchise. I think I'm actually I'm on the side of with Bear Hair, where I think that it is good to watch and see them do what they're doing from an outsider's perspective, knowing that it doesn't affect my life in any way, shape, or form. And it has some marginal impact on esports. Like, it affects esports to a certain extent, even though they're the biggest game. It won't affect the rest of the industry, as it's not. No one else is following that path. So just because Riot moves left, no one is stepping left with them. So I can appreciate the actions and watch the reactions without knowing that it affects me. Is Riot turning into the NFL? Yes, they are. And it's all to create more control. And control may not be a bad thing. We'll see. Especially if it's not controlling me. So we'll end it off there. We'll put those on the. End it off there in terms of our show. Oh, geez. Well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I thought my phone was muted, but apparently it's not. So, ending it off there. Tamir, where can they find you?
You can find me at StrygWD on Twitter. That's STRYWGYRD. The D is silent. It's just there for Twitter.
Bear, where can they find you?
At the Sergeant Bear on Twitter.
That's it? Nowhere else? What about your Snapchat? I want more people to follow you on Snapchat, because I follow you and I watch your Snapchat.
If anyone follows me, Arduini Josh, ARDUINI Josh.
One day we'll talk about branding. You need to get that shit all in line.
I my personal life is under my real name.
Oh my god!
My hot life is under my gamer tag. So
what is this? the secret lives.
I'm two different beings. I don't care.
You live more closeted than a gay man. That's all
and a smoking dummy addict.
It's such a sucker. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of it Draconis. DREKKONIS. Be sure to follow the show every Tuesday, 6 p.m. here at twitch.tv/ESChamp. Same thing can be said for it on Instagram, Facebook, and this show can be found on SoundCloud and iTunes, the Any Key. So just go find it there for sure. Follow it. You can get the show downloaded straight to your digital devices and still feel good about yourself the next day. So, if anyone else has any final thoughts, I think we're going to end it off right there. Guys, once again, thank you very much for watching the show. Really appreciate you for coming with us, and we'll see you next time. Always keep searching for that Any Key. Almost forgot my line.